I think J. Cole just called himself the best again.
Verse of the year, my purpose is clear as to murk. Whoever dare flirt with death, the best alive, and what you now hear is the work.
What's up, words? Your boy Challz Brown back again, talking facts. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe, hit the notification bell. Keep sending those Cashaps to CLBMG. Join the membership, and all you buying that merch down below, gang. Listen, so your boy J. Cole came back, and one thing that I do not do, gang, I'm just going to be honest, I have to keep it a buck with you. I don't try to do reaction videos because, for one, when I do the reaction, the first time reactions, I like to process what's being said. And a lot of times I've been caught out there, not a lot, but a couple times I've been caught out there analyzing lyrics the first day as soon as things drop, and you get it wrong. And I don't want to get it wrong. So when I saw people, first of all, I saw when the disc 2, track 2 dropped on the same day as the announcement of the fall off. I saw a couple videos saying that J. Cole called himself the best alive. And I said, you know what? I'm going to give it a second. When I listened to that record, right, I heard the whole record, but I didn't have time to process it. And I didn't really process every line, but I do recall people saying that. And I was curious, but I said, you know what? Give it some time. Let the hype die down. Go back to it. Really, really listen to it. Flush it out. And make some sense of what he said. Because sometimes you guys, I'm going to be honest, you go in and you'll hear a line and the guy isn't meaning the line verbatim. Sometimes he's speaking and he may be making a metaphor, or he may be making some type of allusion to someone else saying that he's the best. It could have been anything. So I said, Challz, before you jump out the window and run with this narrative that J. Cole is calling himself the best again, just Go about your daily life, right? Go do some other things. I had to do the video about all these J. Cole fans coming out of the woodwork to insult what I was saying in the other video. So I did that video and I fell back and I kind of gave myself some time to process what he said. I said, Challz, you're an MC. And you know us MCs, we say things on a higher plane than a lot of people can digest. And some of the things, even J. Cole has been accused of saying, I went and listened to him and I was like, it's not that simple, right? It ain't that cut and dry. Yeah, he said it, but he was speaking and he put another person in that particular line. It wasn't exactly what these people have made it into, but they're hungry. They're like sharks in the water, right? On some Danny Gold, sharks in the water. So there's sharks in the water, right? So I said, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to listen to it for myself. Let the smoke clear. And I did. I automatically, I'm just going to be honest, I automatically assumed that it was hyperbolic. I automatically assumed that it wasn't going to be, I am declaring myself the best alive after all that we've been through, all that we've seen. But gang, I'm just going to keep this short before I get to the complete breakdown of it. He did. He literally, I bounced this thing around 17 different ways to figure out, was he trying to say this? Was he trying to say that? And was it metaphorically? It was all kind of ways. And I looked at it. There is no way around it. This is him giving his vision, his version of him seeing his life in reverse. And when he gets to that particular point in his life, he literally says the best alive. And what you hear is the work. Whoever flirt with death, gang, he really said, even in this backwards rendition of his life, this retrospective, just reflection of how he's seeing things on his deathbed when he finally disappears into nothing. When he looks back on his life, he sees himself as the best alive, gang. I can't defend it. I can't spin it around. I'm trying to be kinder and gentler, but it ain't going to always work, right? And I'm trying to be, I see a lot of Cole fans coming out the woodwork. I told you they get big bone and brolic all over again because the GOAT is back. But at the end of the day, I got to call it a spade. I got to call it what it is. We already say we don't want to hear none of this big bone talk, and this is exactly what it is. Even though it's very slight. Right? It's smoke and mirrors. He said it and said, he put it away real quick. And he kept going back into these very good bars and this very complex track, right? But he said it. He said it in his 60 years of life, right? And it's kind of crazy because he said fast forward 60 years. So if he's already old And then he fast forwarded 60 years, right? Which I was like, how do you fast forward if you're going backwards? But end of the day, let's just keep focused. If he was at his deathbed and he said, I fast forward 60 years, that means he went back 60 years from his deathbed to when he was the greatest alive. I don't know, gang, that this nigga gonna be 100 years old when he dies, I guess. But end of the day, when you peel back the layers of this whole situation, Cole once again just told us that he's the best alive. Whoever dare flirt with death. And I had to start it from the beginning of the verse. I listened to it a couple times, and every kind of way that you can slice it and dice it. As an MC who writes pretty intricate rhymes, I was like, yeah, that's what he's trying to say. So I don't think Cole is fazed by all this shit we talking. I think maybe Cole still lives in a parallel universe where the battle never happened, right? Maybe he effectively went and smoked some ayahuasca and purged himself for the whole shit. And to him, the whole world needs to purge himself. And a lot of Cole fans are telling me, Challz, you still on that bullshit? This shit is 2 years old. That's one of the things. That's one of the big knocks right now on people who are bringing up this situation with this the whole battle, and he apologized. We're dragging it, gang. So maybe he smoked some ayahuasca, maybe he centered himself, and he phased that shit all out of this whole story. Maybe his whole backward life, it skips over when he goes backwards and he reverses time and does whatever, it skips over the battle with Kendrick or the almost battle, right? Let me read these lyrics because I want you to see what I'm seeing, and he literally does say that. Let's be honest. Okay. I persevered through the worst. My thirst to adhere is a curse. My life, I see it in reverse. I first appeared in a hearse. The driver steered to the church. My grandkids carried the coffin to the altar as they burst into tears from their shirts. The tears rise to the sides of their faces and enter their eyes as piercing with hurt. See, everything's going backwards. They're crying backwards. Bye-bye. We follow you, Cole. Let's keep it pushing. The tears rise to the sides of their eyes. The tears rise to the sides of their face and enter their eyes as piercing with hurt. Fast forward 60 years, I got verse of the year. So he said 60 years from that point where he's on his deathbed, 60 years, there had to be, I don't know how old he was when he got this verse of the year, but he got verse of the year. Maybe it was maybe he's talking about something that already happened that I'm not up on. But he says, I got verse of the year. My purpose is clear, is to murk whoever dare flirt with death. Maybe he's talking about, maybe he got verse of the year in the source or so. I don't know. I don't remember. But wherever he's at, he's saying, I got verse of the year. My purpose is clear. It's to murk whoever dare flirt with death. The best alive, and what you now hear is the work. So he's showing himself in the video. He's writing on this, like all of his MCs had at one point, yellow notepad, and you wrote your rounds on it. If you're a real MC, you did it at some point. I'm not saying just because you write on your phone. We all write on our phone now, right? But at some point, you used to write on paper. You used to write on notebooks and composition books, this, that, and the third, right? So at some point, he's seeing himself, whoever dare flirt with death. That's him saying, if you play with his pen, you was going to die. You were flirting with death. We right back there again, gang, after all we've said and done. Now, I don't know if Cole is really looking at his life honestly. Even if, let's just say, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say he's talking about young Jermaine, right? When he first was... But he's going backwards. So this got to be old Jermaine. But let's just for shits and giggles. Maybe he's talking about a time when he was on that rah shit. Maybe he's talking about right before the battle. Maybe he saw this point right before the battle, right? And he was whoever dare flirt with death, the best alive. He saw himself as the best alive. So he could say, technically, he could say, I saw myself as the best alive. But even that, Cole, is invalid because we do remember the battle. We do remember you bowing out and saying that Kendrick was the greatest. So even in any scenario, any timeline, any zone where you're at with this, I saw myself. Even if you're in an alternate universe, right? You're in low key and they're doing this timelines are splintering off. All of them timelines lead to you lost this battle if you're going to be telling the story truthfully. Right? So you went in, you wrote the 7-minute drill, you apologized to Kendrick, the end, right? At that point, best rapper alive cannot be written in this monologue where you're reversing your life in real time. Okay? So for me and other MCs who are dissecting this, now some guys they want to hear this regardless. They want this big bone talk, da-da-da-da. We could have had it 2 years ago, not now. Not after bowing out of the battle yourself. After you called this man catalog boo boo, right? You did a whole 7-minute drill. You said I used to do this thing where I used to practice and I would write the rhyme in 7 minutes. And you said you did a 7-minute drill. It low key sounded like it because a lot of stuff we didn't agree with. So you wrote that. You said it was the worst couple days of my life. I felt lame as ever. Then you went and apologized and you deleted the record from your record that you might delete later. You did delete it. So now, we're going to reverse this, right? It says, and it continues to go on. It says the inspiration was rare and it spurts, but when it's there, I'm immersed. So this sound like, I'm just going to be honest, gang. This sound like more. It has more than one thing. This is a complex. These are some complex bars right here. So first of all, he says, whoever dare flirt with death. He's saying any rapper that plays with his pen is flirting with death, right? Okay, maybe we can even give you that, but we can't give you the best alive, and what you now hear is the work. You did a lot of work. You flirted with being the best alive, but that didn't manifest because you cannot be the best alive if you back out of a battle with another guy who claimed he was the best alive, and you stepped up to him first, and then you swung and missed, and you ran. We can't have that talk no more, Cole. And I know a lot of these Cole fans, they get in my comments and they tell me I'm still Neanderthal because I'm still wallowing in this old shit that's already 2 years old. Even Charlemagne, the God from Breakfast Club, came out talking about y'all still bringing up that. Right? A lot of these people are still, even Wayne was like, y'all still bringing up that. Well, we're going to always bring it up because it happened. Right? And this being his final album does not negate the fact that he ran from a battle that he got in on his own. Right? So at the end of the day, now we're dissecting these words, and when you tell me the best alive and what you hear now is the work, okay, we see the catalog, we see the work. I told you all the time, I hold J. Cole in a high regard with what he's done. With these, you see the picture with the what machine is that? Is that an MPC? I'm not sure what machine he has in the picture. So he makes his own beats, he writes his own raps. That is A for effort. That's a gold star from Marcus, gang. So at the end of the day, you can't take none from a man who's doing those two things and at the same time, right? That's like Hit Boy, Alchemist. Like you can produce it with Kanye. You can produce the way you produce and still come with the verses and the rhymes that make you who you are. We can't take nothing from you from that. You are 100% hip hop. So that'll never be in debate. That'll never be a fight against anything. That's what you are. But at the same time, we're going to say, okay, at some point, we got to anoint you the best alive. Right? I know a lot of rappers are supposed to say they're the best, this, that, and the third, but at some point, saying you the best and the people are disputing that, there's an asterisk with that. And we got an asterisk beside your name. Just like when you watch sports, you're watching a football player or he done something, or you got Pete Rose or somebody, they got an asterisk beside their name. Cole got an asterisk beside his name. We're not going to stop saying this. It's not going to stop. Because just like you want that title of being the best alive, well, that if we crowned you that, then you would be that forever. So if you fell off in a battle, you ran away from the battle. Let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. You ran away, you know what I'm saying? You got on your bike and you rode off, right? We're going to remember that. We're going to remember seeing you going down the street on your bike when there was a battle happening. We're going to remember that. And a lot of his fans want us to give him credit for falling back. Cole was the smart one. Well, guess what? We can't give you credit for that. So when you come back 2 years later, it's almost 2 years, gang. It's almost 2 years later. You can't come back and say in the way you remember it, right? This is supposed to be him remembering his life. This is him remembering his life. So you can't remember it to us saying the best alive, right? At some point, we have to call it what it is. We're going to call it out every time. This is just where we are. It's a whole new world, gang. It's a whole new world, gang. This is Aladdin right now, right? Princess Jasmine. It's a whole new world, gang. We look at you now. We can't jack it. We love all the other bars and other stuff. I do have an issue with another line in here that I'm gonna get to the other line, right? The so-called hero, the Jay-Z line. I ain't jacking that either. But end of the day, let's stay focused. Whoever dare flirt with that, the best alive, and what you hear now is the work. Well, people still even questioning the work, especially the work after this. The fall off is going to have to be really amazing. I hear it's supposed to be a 2-disc, right? Which I'm gonna sit there and listen to both discs, and I'm gonna give that some time to marinate. I'm not jumping out the window with a review or reaction. I'm going to marinate with the album. I'm gonna give it a good spin, right? I just dropped that 25 best list of the albums that I felt was great hip hop albums. I put that on my page. If you look at my posts, my community posts, I put a list up of the 25 best albums. Check that out. I'm gonna see if this album is going to be in the top of the 25 for 2026. Right? I gotta listen to it and I gotta really pay attention to it. So I will take my time with it, but I'm not going to be jacking it if it's a whole bunch of stuff. I'm just going to be honest. And a lot of people are opening up the debate why we can't say it anymore. A lot of people are like, why can't he say that? He can say whatever he wants. I told you, these fans are going crazy in my comments telling me, mind my business, leave it alone. Oh man, you're messing up the vibe, right? Let him say what he want. He's an MC, nothing to stop him. You guys let one thing change a person. Well, ain't that how that works, gang? And I know it's not fair, but one thing can change a person's whole perception, our perception of a person. I'm sorry. It does, right? Look at Will Smith. When Will Smith went up on that stage and slapped Chris Rock, it changed our perception of Will Smith. It just did. How he carried it before and after, all of that stuff mattered. He got up on that stage. First, he laughed at the joke, and then he looked at his wife, and she was disapproving of the situation. So then all of a sudden, it got real serious. He walked up on the stage, slapped Chris Rock, keep your name out, keep my wife's name out. He turned into an animal. So we were like, yo, that's Will Smith, dead ass for real? So we kind of changed our perception. So with this situation, Cole went up on that stage and told the whole crowd that Kendrick was the greatest alive. Don't you think Kendrick Lamar is the greatest? Right? Told him if you feel a certain way, you could I'll take it on the chin. Send me your best shot. Right? Then a couple months later, wrote a love letter to Drake and made a song called Port Antonio. We wasn't jacking it. And God forbid that grippy verse. I don't know how we can delete that forever. But at the end of the day, this is where we are. So I'm looking at this verse and I'm like, he literally, we're here again. He really did. I wanted to give the benefit of the doubt. I didn't click none of them videos. I saw a bunch of videos. Everybody like, J. Cole called himself the best again. I said, I'm not clicking none of them because I want to hear for myself because I don't believe this guy would do this again. And this is where we are. He did it again, gang. But I think he really feels this way, and he's not going to let you or anybody else talk him out of it. I watched his demeanor in that new video. I think J. Cole really don't care. He's like, really, listen, gang, I'm nice. I do this, and which is fine for you to say that. I can't knock nothing or do nothing about that. But at the end of the day, we're going to still judge you for what you did. And in this hip-hop thing, you know we got Coles. And I'm just going to be honest. This is from me to J. Cole. Cole, if anybody else would have did that and you was sitting at home, you would have been like, oh, this nigga's a buster. Like, just be honest, gang. Like, I think we want to give Cole, I think the only way around this is for Cole. I really, first of all, he's going to have to make good music. He's going to have to really make good music. But he's going to have to understand where we are. You have to acknowledge it. I know his fans want us to move past it, but we're not moving past it until he does, right? I don't really think Cole has, let's say this, and I know we keep saying, we all over the place with what he got to do, but I'm going to say this is the realest thing I can tell you. If Cole was to really come out and basically say, I know what you guys feel, I know what you mean, and you are 100% right. I messed up. This is hip hop. You don't do that. Cole apologized for being lame to Kendrick. He didn't apologize to us. He don't give a fuck what we think, right? He looks at it like I'm moving forward with that, and that's his whole fan base. But Cole need to apologize to hip hop because he broke every rule in this shit. He broke every rule in this shit. Like with that situation, every rule was broken, right? Even the bubble bath rapper went and rapped, right? So end of the day, you don't pull a song out and then pull it back and delete it and go about your business and be quiet about it for months. Like, it don't make no sense. So this is where we are with it. So we rebuke this line right here, the best alive, and now what you hear is the work. We heard the work, but the best alive, we got a little bit of pushback on that. The inspiration was rare and in spurts, but when it's there, I'm immersed. Now, that line right there, that's telling you a lot. He said the inspiration was rare and in spurts. That means he was 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And when he got inspired, he jumped to it. And when he wasn't inspired, you didn't see him, right? Which is, I guess you can say that's everybody, but at the same time, I don't know how I feel about that line. Like, yeah, most of us ain't reached the level of what Cole was. And most of us ain't in this big three conversation. Right? It says when the inspiration was rare and in spurts, you were rarely inspired to rap. That's what you telling us, Cole? You were rarely inspired to rap, but you want to be known as the best alive. It got to make sense, gang. It got to make sense. And now let me play devil's advocate. I know they're going to come out the back. Well, Kendrick he'd take 5 years to make an album. He's not up here talking about my inspiration was rare and in spurts. You never heard him say that. And all these people go through this, that, and the third. He said, but when it's there, I'm immersed. Well, end of the day, we happen to see a time when you weren't that immersed because you wrote that verse and you deleted it. So now we got to question this whole situation, right? And this other thing I want to say, and I like what listen, I like what he said as the follow-up. He said, of naysayers who only days later, I don't care to convert on Cloud9. I like that part about he don't care to convert these people who don't believe in him, da-da-da. That's cool. But what he said after that, I couldn't jack it. I couldn't jack it, gang. Let me just say this. This is another disappointing part of this verse. Now, let me just say this verse is high-powered. This song is dope. I'm just going to be honest. But when you say this right here, it looking at you sideways. When he said, on Cloud9, now signed to my hero, one of those so-called kings of this rap thing that I swear to usurp. Now, Gang, you gotta understand, this is Big Bone and Brolic right here. This is a problem because you're talking about you're signed to one of the so-called kings of this rap thing that I swear to usurp. You're talking about Jay-Z. Now I get it. This is his life in reverse. He's talking about it from a point where now he's looking at young Cole who just got in the game. But let's be honest. You said he was one of your heroes, right? You're signing my hero, one of the so-called kings of this rap thing. Now, let's dissect that line right there. That line disrespectful. Let's just be honest. You said one of the so-called kings of this rap thing. Now, we know who said that first. I believe it was Biggie, right? What kings of this rap thing? They siblings. Nothing but my siblings. One shot, they disappear. Some shit Biggie said, right? But he said one of the kings of this rap thing, right? Now, if you say one of the so-called right there, no matter what you're trying to say, we can't keep moving the goalposts and making things not be what they are. You're literally right there. You're disrespecting. And we could say whatever we want to say. Yo, well, Cole, he's trying to, it's building to something. We can't keep giving excuses, gang. That is mad disrespectful. One of the so-called, you're not going to say so-called kings. Even if you're paying homage to Biggie, Nas, or whoever, even when they even said it, if they said it in that tone, that is disrespectful. So you're gonna say one of the so-called kings, and I get it. Is you're showing an edge. You're showing like, yo, I feel like I can take this guy, da da da. But you're saying one of the so-called kings of this rap thing that I swear to usurp. You're trying to say you came into the game to usurp the power. We all say that's fine, like da da da. Like when Kendrick came in with the control verse, we're saying that's what you're supposed to say. We get it. But at the end of the day, Kendrick was talking about with his peers, not the people that signed him and above him, da da da. So he was never making control verse about Jay-Z and not. This was about his peers that was lined up at the time that was on his level, right? He wasn't talking about the guy that signed him. He didn't say, Dre, I'm trying to murder your ass. Like, it wasn't like that. You're on here literally saying, and I always felt that there was a push and pull, a love-hate relationship. And y'all, I know y'all remember that. Y'all remember that comment. He said something about Cole. Somebody stole J. Cole's phone and they called Jay-Z and he picked up right away, but Cole would never get him on the phone. Like, it was some weird shit. Like, no, I'm sorry. They stole Jay-Z, they stole Cole's phone, called Jay-Z from Cole's phone. Jay didn't pick up. They used the same number of Jay-Z's number on a different phone, and Jay picked up immediately. So that was the thing where people were like, there's something weird with J. Cole and Hove. They don't have the greatest relationship. So for you to come in 2026, and this is your last album, and you say a line like this, we can't let none of these bars go over our head. And you say one of these so-called kings of this rap thing that I swear to usurp. Now, you want to usurp the rap kingdom, this, that, and the third. First of all, that's fine. That's what a rapper's supposed to do. You're supposed to want to be king. But at this point, it feels like you're looking at him from the beginning that you wanted to knock him off from the jump. And maybe that's a problem. And I know you got issues with him saying he wasn't going to release your record till you got a hit record. That's still a article of contention with these two guys. And I don't know if it ever got any better because Cole is independent now at this point. So all this, you're signed to Jay, but then you make a song letting Nas down. It's like the whole thing never was clicking. Even when it was like with the Kaepernick thing, like it never seemed like these guys seen eye to eye. It always seemed like Cole was on the other side of this, that, and the third of every single thing that happened to come along. I don't remember really too many times where he really ever defended Jay or said, yo, this, that, and the third, yo, leave Jay alone, leave Jay out of it. I've never seen him come to the defense of the guy. I could be bugging out, but I just don't remember that, right? So end of the day, I feel like that in and of itself, to me, it shows we're right back here with the character. You're supposed to have some type of relationship with Jay, good, bad, or indifferent. You're not supposed to be out here calling him a so-called king. When the rest of the world, we don't have no issues with Jay battle. Yeah, Jay lost to Nas, but Jay put up a hell of a fight, right? And Nas had to come back from it. He almost got knocked out. So Nas had to make anything short of ether. He was gone. So we're not going to say that it's the same thing. This ain't the same. You didn't finish your battle. You turned into a monk. Before the battle even got started, you threw the rocks and, like they say, hid your hand. And this is where we are. So we're going to talk about this forever. So when you come out with a verse that says, I'm best alive, we're going to talk about it. It is what it is. J. Cole fans, get in the comments. It's whatever you feel. But at the end of the day, I feel like at this point, you're not allowed to say that no more. No matter how you feeling, if you're rewinding your whole life, you're talking. There was no point. Let's just be honest. If we really talked, there was no point when nobody was saying J. Cole was the best alive anyway for at any point in his career. We was always saying J. Cole's nice. J. Cole could be one of the top 5, but we was never saying Cole was the best alive, right? Right now, if you did a poll, let's say before this announcement, because these guys got really jacked up about this announcement. Let's be honest. Let's say right now, right before you heard it to fall off, if you would have took a poll and they said the best alive, it probably would have been K-Dot by a landslide. Now he's still going to win it, but this guy would get a few more votes because now they waiting on his album and they geeked up. But I don't know no point in history of J. Cole's career where they say J. Cole's the best alive. I told you when around that time when he did Johnny P's Caddy, I was like, this dude has reached Super Saiyan level. Still wasn't saying he was the best alive, but I said he was dropping the best verses at that time. His collabs were going crazy. He wasn't the best alive though. Let's be honest. Best alive constitutes doing your full records and they smackers, right? I told you I used to listen to J. Cole records once or twice and keep it pushing, right? So end of the day, I'm not saying that he don't make good music or what have you, and I'm not saying that he didn't make good verses, but I never walked around putting J. Cole best alive. So I don't know where this line is coming from, and when he's rewinding his life, his career, I don't know where that line would even fit, even metaphorically. I'm just going to be honest. I'm going to leave it at that, man. Let me know what you think in the comments. CLBMG. Head on over to black-yeti.com. Let them know who sent you. Also, every Wednesday night, we go live on The What Show, 9:15. All my social media platforms. Tap in. And we got a new song called This, That, Me, TJ, and Flares off The What Project. Tap in on The What Project on all your streaming platforms. All right, I'm out of here. I'm going to catch you on that flip side. Peace.
Look, mission impossible to drop a few lines without dropping old times when Southern Hill was still a gold mine. When pistol grips was my shit and I sold mine. When Alias was not a show and they told mine.
Elevate your mind with high quality THC infused products. BlackYeti.com. Black-Yeti.com.
CLB.
Get my coat, get my sheepskin, grab my wallet, get my pocket knife, and get that hat right there. We out. Grab my pocket knife too. Let's go. When I first came to the city, niggas didn't believe me. I just wanted to join a team and throw assist pass easily. 6 man off the bench, alley-oop pass freely. Suit up for one game and hope a scout might see me. But nah, niggas is greedy, wasn't rocking with him. Unplugged the scoreboard and put a lock on the gym. Told me to power forward, point guard at the rim. And left me with no center and a ball full of phlegm. Not knowing that I'm a dog, a Rottweiler within. With the heart of a pit bull that don't bark for pretend. My bites cut deep, break the bone and the skin. With the level of hustlenomics you do not comprehend. So first I took a block down on the west side end, and then secured a spot with some goons and some kin. And then sent out some flyers, let the games begin. And in 6 months time, the city like that's him. Oh yeah, he the one that moved the hustle to the burbs. And yeah, he the one that knocked the hustlers off the curb. And yeah, he the one that set up shop without a word. And he the one that got it cracking, and all he did was rapping by the Hooters. I kept killers from being shooters. Put a mic in a thug's hand, now he loyal like past fans. Take a man off the streets past the needles and crack cans. Promise mama to keep him safe, then put some food in his face and he'll kill for you. But I don't need him for that. Click like, click share, tell them bitches we back. Share the whole location, tell them niggas where we at. Cause we out here, we ain't the cheese, we the trap.